So this is a presentation about the Textiles GCSE course that we run at Redgate School. I'm Mrs Wilson and I'm just going to talk you through how the course is. Okay, so obviously the main difference between art and textiles, and so that's a question we quite often get asked, is how are they different? In the structure of the course they are exactly the same. Okay, so in the way that you would work with coursework in art, it is the same in textiles. The main difference is that obviously all of the work that you're doing in textiles is going to end up with bits of fabric, so the processes are slightly different. In year 10 we will usually do one long project that will last throughout the year, and it ends up with a final piece, and then we'll do another one in year 11, and then there will be an externally set exam. The work is assessed in exactly the same way as art, so 60% of the mark comes from the coursework, and that's everything done in year 10 and 11, and the externally set exam is set in January. There's an exam theme, students will develop their own ideas and then end up making a piece in the 10-hour practical exam. In the projects in year 10 and 11, we currently are looking at year 10. We look at lots of different types of textiles from around the world and build up lots of different techniques in that project. And then in year 11 it goes into a more thematic topic, which is more similar to what you will get in the exam, so that you're used to being able to develop your own idea. So you'll be fully prepared for the exam by the time you get to there. In year 9, we spend the whole of year 9 just working through all of the techniques that you are likely to use in year 10 and 11, so that you get a little taster of all of them, and so that you're familiar with and comfortable with how to do things. Okay, so that's going to include things like using the sewing machines, dyeing. We'll do some machine embroidery and hand stitch, batik, print and constructing with textiles. There is an element of painting and drawing, because also obviously there has to be some design work, and so we'll also spend some time doing things like learning to work with acrylics. So if you do, you enjoy painting and drawing still, there is an element of that in it. Obviously drawing for textiles is slightly different in that you're more likely looking for pattern and using colour, so if you enjoy those things, this could be a good subject for you. We will look at different fashion designers and textile artists and study the way that they work as well, so again that's quite interesting. And if you enjoy things like fashion and clothes, there is a sense that you can do a lot of research there, and you'll learn to do some fashion drawing as well. In the portfolios, again, so it makes up 60% of the overall mark. You will have one project then about different cultures, and what we're looking at is lots of different styles and ways of working. And then when you go into year 11, you will start to personalise that work a little bit more, more with your own themes. But using it again, those skills. So if, for example, it turns out that you really enjoy using a sewing machine, it might become that in year 11 you're doing more work using that, or for example you might decide that you're better at doing print and you enjoy that more. Okay, so it's, you don't all have to do everything. There'll be certain things that you enjoy more and you'll spend more time on those. Usually we will try to go on a trip which is usually an investigation trip, where we will do drawings and take photographs and basically gather up information as a start point for one of the projects. The externally set exam is set in January. It gives you have a period of a few weeks to develop ideas for it, which make up some of the mark, and you take all of that development work into the exam with you. So by the time you go into the exam, you know exactly what you're going to make. You've probably tried out how you're going to do it. So really, as long as you're super organised, it shouldn't be too stressful. So what makes a good textile artist. So usually it's kind of mix of somebody that likes art but possibly isn't just into drawing. If you're somebody that enjoys making things, or you just like having lots of bits and pieces and playing around with them, seeing what you can create, textiles might be a good subject for you. Okay, if you've already got an interest in sewing or knitting or macrame or any of those kinds of crafts, textiles could be a good option for you. You need a little bit of confidence at being happy to try new things out, because you are going to be learning a lot of new skills. Okay, and remember, not everything goes right the first time, particularly in textiles, I think we have to say. But sometimes some of the most spectacular mistakes end up making brilliant pieces of textile work. So that's quite good fun. You need to be able to think independently about themes and ideas, and show your own opinions about the work that you're looking at. You need to be prepared to spend some time in school and in after school clubs developing your work, because sometimes, particularly if you're doing, for example, hand stitching, it does take a bit of time. Okay, but it is quite a nice therapeutic activity that you can quite easily enjoy while you're watching TV or something in the evening as well. Okay, so again, there is a kind of time element to the work, but as long as you enjoy doing it, it's generally I would say that the students that take textiles absolutely love it. It's usually one of their best subjects. Lessons are good fun because they're very varied and you are doing lots of different things. So because a lot of the textile things that we're learning are processes, sometimes you will be learning a little bit about timing and how you maybe will have 2 or 3 different things on the go at one time, because obviously if you're dyeing material then you've got to let it dry. So we'll be teaching you how to organise your time so that you make the best use of it. You will have lessons where you will feel a bit challenged, but hopefully you will just grow in confidence as you go. The bit that normally people are most frightened of is using the sewing machine, so we get you on those very, very quickly in Year 9 so that you have a good long time to get used to working with them. And remember, in Year 9 you're going to be learning everything that you need to know. So if you know absolutely nothing and you've never picked up a needle or put a pin in a piece of fabric before, it absolutely doesn't matter. You are going to learn everything that you need to know in Year 9. Okay. Alright, so here are some examples of work from, these are current Year 11 students, and you can see a vast range of different things that they're working on, different techniques from weaving to printing to hand stitching. Some of the drawing trips that we have been on have been to, we usually go to different places where there's different aspects that we can work from. We've been to Brighton Pavilion, Wisley Gardens, the Horniman Museum and Booth Museum. Again, the most frequently asked question is this too much? Again, the coursework does seem like a lot of work, but remember it's over a long period of time. So again, I think generally most of the students seem to enjoy it, so I shouldn't worry if it's you're choosing it because you love the subject. I don't think it will be too much work for you. There isn't a written exam. All of the written work comes through the artist research and evaluations that you'll do within the coursework. You don't need any textile experience at all. Okay, so if you enjoy art activities, you like making things, or you love colour and you like making patterns, this is going to be a really good subject for you. And how will it help you longer term? Well, again, textile students have to be well organised and able to develop their ideas independently. You have to be good at managing your time and making decisions, able to adapt when things go wrong, willing to try new things, being a good communicator, self-motivated and hard-working. So again, very, very desirable attributes to people as you go into further education or into careers. Some of the careers that could stem from textiles, and we've actually had quite a lot of students go on to do textiles at college, and they always do very, very well. And we have also got some students that have gone on to be textile designers, so we're really pleased with that. But just some ideas of careers that you could go on to. And obviously, if you have any questions about the course, the best thing to do is to talk to your art teacher, who will be able to tell you much more.